incorporate her audience into the show. So not only is she speaking, but you guys are also speaking in regards to, the topic and what's going on in your opinions, right? Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about it. I don't know what it is about people. They seem to think that if nobody believes and think like them, that person is the enemy, or that person is the devil, or, oh, they're just wrong, I mean, there are certain things people are just wrong, right? Racism is wrong. Sexism is wrong. Equality for women. Yes, I believe in equality, but unfortunately, men and women aren't equal, so how can you say equality? There will never be equality between men and women because physically, men are stronger. So there'll never be any equality. There's certain things we might be equal in. There are a lot of smart women out there. We could be equal in academia. But the fact is, civilization was built by men. Everything that we're enjoying to this very day is because of men, right? Yes, women helped us get to the moon, supposedly. I'll give them that. But you can't be, to me, and this is just my opinion, there's no such thing as equality if you're two totally different species. We have different sex organs. So how can we ever be equal? Are we equal as human beings? No. You're a female, I'm a male. How can we be equal? So what is my basic grudge today? Well, if you guys have been watching the SI News, or the news today, or the last couple of days, Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated, you have women's sports, you have men's sports, right? Very prestigious magazine, awesome. I used to love to read the articles there, especially with some of my favorite athletes. It was a niche created magazine. And unfortunately, ladies, men enjoy sports more than women overall. And if you say I'm lying, then why don't you guys support the WNBA? Why don't women support the WNBA? See, that's what I'm saying. Everybody, it's delusional. Women in general are delusional. They want, they keep talking about equality and all this other stuff, but then when you give them equality, they don't want it. They say it's not fair. Equality, I'll give you another example. Governor Ron DeSantis just ended forever alimony. Women are up in arms. But wait a minute, you want to be equal. So why do you need a man that you were formerly married to take care of you for the rest of your life? Doesn't that incentivize you not to get married again? See, they always talk this BS. Okay, if we're talking equality, let's merge the WNBA into the NBA and see how much playing time the WNBA players will get. There's been a challenge out there. A guy put a challenge out there that he will pay $1 million to the winner if the top WNBA team plays the top college team of his male team of his choice. Hell, we don't even have to go to college. Since women are pros, let's go to the G League, a semi-pro league, right? They're not on the WNBA level, right? Let's go to the semi-pro G League of the NBA. We won't even involve the NBA as the entity itself. The WNBA versus any G League team. Who do you think would win? Who do you think would win? I agree. Any high school state championship team in any of the 50 states could beat any WNBA women's champion team. I am so confident of it, I will sell my house, take all my money out of the bank, sell my cars, everything, and put all of my money on the high school boys team. I'll do it. And do you guys know when that challenge was put out there? And I think the guy made a challenge to the high school, national high school state champion of his choice. Think about it. $1 million. That women's team will make more money in that one game than their whole WNBA salary in one game. And the WNBA hasn't taken up the challenge because they know. They know. They know. You know, physicality is physicality. I mean, these women barely dunk. And then when you give them suggestions, like, well, why don't you lower the rim? Oh, you know, I played all my life on a 10-foot rim, whatever the deal is. Well, wait a minute. You're talking about equality. Your basketball is smaller than a regular official NBA ball. So you've adjusted to that. You will adjust to whatever it is. They're just totally delusional. And instead of being thankful that they're being subsidized by men, they still want equality. It's ridiculous. It's a totally ridiculous situation. So I recently put up a post in regards to you go woke, you go broke, because what basically has happened with Sports Illustrated is they failed to meet payroll. And, you know, and the minute I put that up, a bunch of these feminists jumped on my page talking about people don't read. You know, they love to insult you. Okay, now this is my page. I'm going to put up whatever I want to put up. And a lot of my friends and family know that. I don't give a damn what you think. It's like coming into my house. You're not going to come into my house with your bullshit, okay? Or I'm going to put you out. It's as simple as that, right? This is my house, my page. I will post what I want. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to post, right? But this one person about, well, you know, people don't read, whatever. Nobody buys magazines. Everything's going digital. That's true. And that's probably true. But a person like me who grew up on comic books, who collected comic books, who collected Playboys, who collected coins and things of that nature, these things gain value over years. Digital stuff has no value. And once again, a feminist agenda has... Sports Illustrated was doing fine until they went to a feminist agenda and they started losing subscribers. Let's just tell the truth about this thing. That's the truth. I don't know why they keep saying, well, you know, it's digital. Nobody buys digital anymore. No, that's bullshit. They had no problem until they started putting fat women or overweight women on the cover, and they started putting trans. Sports Illustrated, it was a magazine form. It's a niche magazine, mostly for men. Yes, there are women in it as well. You know, and some women like sports, whatever. They read it. It's no problem. Great articles. You can really get up and close and personal and really understand your athletes and, you know, your favorites and all this other stuff. They didn't have any problem until they started doing that. And see, like my friend said, nobody reads. Sports Illustrated, by their advertisers, were asked and told, do not do this. We do not want to go in this direction. If you continue to do this, we will pull our advertising. That's what happened. Sports Illustrated, whoever these people are, doubled down and said, we're going to do it. Now they've gone digital. And it's not because, oh, nobody buys magazines. Sports Illustrated was doing absolutely fine until they went woke. And why these feminist women do not understand what is happening when it's happening in real time. The Star Wars franchise, a iconic franchise that I grew up on, 1977, I was 7 years old. The most fantastic movie I had ever seen. Star Wars, A New Hope, later on labeled. Awesome. Uncle Bennett took me to see it at the Rubidoux Drive-In Theater. We were up and just excited. My Aunt Winsome was asleep, like as she usually does. For some reason, Aunt Winsome never wanted to stay awake when we were going to see the karate movies and all of them. You know, my Uncle Bennett, we would go and we were just up, man. We just loved it. Empire Strikes Back. All this stuff. Oh, well, you know, a woman needs to do this. One of the most iconic women in film. Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia. And you're talking about Star Wars is misogynistic? Oh my God. Oh my God. But here it is in real time. They're seeing what's happening in real time and they're still in denial. They're still in denial. Disney took that story and went woke with all of these messages that nobody wants. Nobody cares about that. They go to the movies for escapism. Just tell a good story. That's all people want. We don't want these agendas. People are telling you that. I do not care what your preference is in your house, in your bedroom. That is your business. But these agendas are destroying long-term publications and things. Disney has lost, I think in the last 3 years, over $1 trillion. Or close to a damn $1 trillion. Because of this woke agenda. The Marvels, all-woman thing, nobody wants to see this stuff. Because it's not true. All these movies where the woman is kicking the ass of a 235-pound, 6'3" guy, it's bullshit. They don't even sell that in the military. They don't. They don't sell that in the military. You cannot be an average 5'4", 5'5" woman at 110 pounds, maybe 120, maybe 130, that's going to kick the shit out of a 220-pound man. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Even when I took karate and I still am in the art, I was always told when I had to kumite, which means fight, against a female to take it easy. I was always told that by my masters. Take it easy. Well, why? She's a female. Oh. So for you people that don't understand the art of collecting, a digital print of something will never have value because anybody can get it. It's on the internet. Anybody can get it. How much do you guys think the first edition of Playboy magazine cost right now? And who was on the first edition of Playboy magazine? Marilyn Monroe. How much do you think that magazine is worth today? For those of us that are comic book people, the first issue of Spider-Man, how much do you think that's worth today? It was, what, 10 cents in the 60s when it first came out? How much do you think that comic book is worth today? Even in terrible condition. The Secret Wars of Marvel. The first appearance of Spider-Man's black suit. How much do you think that, and I bought that comic when I was in Japan. All my friends that remember me, that came over to my house, knew I had a Foot Locker full of comic books. And I had that edition. That comic book back then was 75 cents. 75 cents. How much do you think it's worth today? Iconic covers of Sports Illustrated, depending on who it was and what it was and how it was, how much do you think those comics are not comics, those covers are worth today? It isn't, it isn't something about going digital. That isn't it. They didn't have a problem until these agendas started happening. So ladies, you got to look at it like this. You start these bullshit agendas. You start them, right? People get turned off by that, and then they stop their subscription. They stop their subscription. They stop their subscription. People just say, I'm done with it. So what's the next step? Now you don't have enough subscribers. You actually think people are going to go and, go digital? Now, I'm an old school type person. Right? I have glasses. I like to read. I'm not going to read on a tablet. I like what I like. I like getting my magazine, reading it, then putting it away, and whatever. All this digital stuff is for the generations that are to come. Not the new generation. Or not the old generation, I'm sorry. It's delusional. Oh, they just went digital. Why are you making all of these excuses for failure? This stuff people do not want. They don't want these agendas. I do not care how you identify yourself. I do not care if you're fat. I'm not outright going out of my way to fat shame anybody, but how is it fat shaming if it's true? You're morbidly obese. How is that fat shaming? That's like me growing up saying, oh God, everybody's so mean to me because they keep calling me skinny. Skinny butt, skinny butt. But it was true. I was skinny. How is that shame? We got to stop this, you guys. We've got to stop this, or all of these publications and things that, you know, I'm kind of glad because people are starting to push back. They are starting to push back because it's true. If you go woke with some kind of agenda, you go broke. How does the minority dictate to the majority? That makes no sense. How does the minority group of people dictate to the majority that wants it a certain way? Is that how democracy works now? I thought it was majority rules. You know, I'll be the first one out there to say, hey, I don't think, you know, you should arbitrarily go out there and exterminate people or, you know, do what it is you're supposed to do. But if the majority of people want a certain thing, that's the route you should go. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. Don't sit there and tell me you are 5'3", 320 pounds and you're healthy. No, you're fat. That's the simplest term to call you that. Oh, Donovan, just because you're a certain way and whatever. No. Okay, here's the deal. See, men, we're realists. I am an average man. I am of average height. And it is what it is. I am bald. I shave my head because at my age, it does not matter. It does not matter. I could care less at this point. I could care less. And the women that I attract could care less either. All they want to know is, can I take care of them? Can I pay bills? Can I do, you know, what I'm supposed to do as a man? I'm not out here trying to stunt for anybody. Anybody that knows me will tell you, it is very rare you see Donovan in name brand stuff. Very rare. I got an average car, average house. I spend more money on my animals than I do myself. Very rare. Very rare. But yet, I see all of my friends out here with all the name brand stuff, right? And they can't make rent. They got all these kids and they can't make rent. And they can't do this. But they got the $400 hairstyles. They got the Air Jordans. They got all this other stuff. My disappointment with the Sports Illustrated situation is the fact that these iconic covers are no more. And the value. Tyra Banks, her first, I loved when Tyra Banks was on Sports Illustrated because that was the swimsuit issue. And you saw some beautiful women in the swimsuit issue, right? I remember when Sports Illustrated started putting those obese women on there, I was done. I was done. I was done at that time. I don't want to see that. If I wanted to see a average, basically obese woman, I could walk out my front door. I could go to downtown and I'll see those women all day long. Now, not saying that the women that they put on there weren't pretty. They were very pretty women. There's no doubt. I mean, you know, they were pretty women. But they were not physically fit. I believe an athletic magazine should cater to athletics and physically fit type people. Show me a fitness magazine that has a obese person on it unless that person went from obese to super muscular, hitting the gym, and that's their story. Show me a muscular magazine that just says, oh yes, I'm Mrs. Universe, and I'm 320 pounds, and I'm 5'2", and I'm beautiful. You're beautiful to yourself. Let's talk economics. The market. You got a lot of women out here that think because they're females and they have a box, that box is worth millions of dollars. And that's great for you to have self-love and understand that, right? But you're not the only one with the box. How many women are there in the world? What, 5 billion? 6 billion? I think there's like 9 billion people in the world, and there's more women than there are men. There are more women than there are men. So economically, if the market is flooded, realistically, the value of a product goes down, doesn't it? That's what I was taught in economics. If the market is flooded, doesn't matter what you think it's worth. Go to a pawn dealer. That's even a better example. Go to a pawn shop and take your Rolex watch that you spent $30,000 in the 90s to buy. Go to the pawn shop and say, hey, this is a Rolex watch, and it is. And say, you know, hey, I want $20,000 for it. How much do you think the pawn shop guy is going to give you for it? How many of you guys remember that there's a couple of shows like that? The pawn shop or pawn stars, right? Pawn stars on, I think it was on History Channel or something like that. Remember, people would come in with their valuables, and in their mind, oh, it's worth this. But the guy would be like, well, no, this is what's wrong with it. Show me on that show where he actually gave somebody more or what they asked for in the show. It was very rare in that show that he actually gave them what they thought it was worth. The person either came down a little bit and they met at the middle, but usually he never gave them full value. That's reality. That is reality. Now, as somebody who collects things, the fact that Sports Illustrated is now going digital, it's just a matter of time before they cease to exist. When you can't make payroll, that has nothing to do with you making a decision to go digital. You're going bankrupt because your sponsors and your endorsers are not giving you money. You're not bringing in the revenue anymore. Has nothing to do with making a decision. You're forced to go digital to see if you can survive. Sports Illustrated is not going to survive anymore. At least in its entity, because people like me and older people like me who were, you know, big fans of Sports Illustrated, the magazine, you know, if I'm flying somewhere and I'm in the terminal, that's the magazine I would get to read on the airplane to see how my Dodgers are doing, how my Lakers are doing, whatever, whatever, whatever. I'm not going to go and pull up my tablet and go, I'm not going to do that. My eyes can't take it. My eyes can't take it. There's no value in it. I remember when I was working at the airport, I would love to go on the planes when they were cleaning the planes and stuff and get the magazines that people left on the planes. I mean, these are like $7, $8, $11 magazines, right? People paid for them. They left them and you get them and you sit in the break room and you just read them, right? God, these feminists, you guys are destroying this country because you guys do not want to. It's almost like feminists are mad that they were born women, in my opinion. It's like they're just mad. Oh, I'm not a man, so I'm just going to make you accept me as one. And da, 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 da. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's damn near crazy. They're mad because they were not born with male organs between their legs. And they hate it. They hate the fact that God, for those of you guys that are religious, gave you the uniform to wear. And that's it. I'm a black man, right? I could sit here and bitch all day about it's not fair. It's not fair. I was born black. It's not. That's the most ridiculous argument in the world. There is nothing harder to me on this earth than to be a black man. And only special people are designated to do it. And I'm one of them. It's not easy. And I know, women, it's not easy being a woman. I get it. I get it. But I'm a man, so I don't really give a damn. I get it, but I don't have to give a damn because I'm a man. Fellas, we got to stop kowtowing and bowing down to these women because we're born the way we're born. And I stand on that 10 toes. And before I go, I want you guys to think about this. Because they'll be the first to say, but that's why you're by yourself. Have you guys noticed that women that are feminists, even though they say they're not, they're by themselves too? I'm misogynistic. Okay, fine. I'm by myself. Okay, but you don't see me complaining about it. You don't see me, oh, I should be, no. Okay, I'm a misogynistic. But you know what? Here's the funny thing. What makes me who I am, and when I'm the toxic male that I am, when I was a toxic male when I was younger, I used to treat women like shit. They loved my dirty draws. I am not joking. And how many of you guys out there would agree with me? When you were younger and you were out there dating, you had this girl, you had that girl, and you treated them like shit, they loved you. But the minute you became a nice guy, oh, well, Donovan's nice, but, he's just too soft. I need a guy with a little edge on him, whatever. Ray Ray and Pookie get, I say this to a lot of my friends too. It's true. Guys that come out of prison get more pussy than the law allows. This guy has to start from complete scratch. He comes out of prison, he's got women waiting on him. But you don't see me complaining. I just look at it and say, wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. But fellas, we got to stop kowtowing and apologizing for being men. And I'm going to show you how hypocritical women are. They keep talking about equality, but then when their sons are dragged into child support or accused of paternity on something, they're the first to defend their sons. They talk equality, but when it's really applied, they don't want it. They don't want equality. It's just a grift to me. It's like the brick lady. It's just a grift. Oh, I should be paid the same as a male. Well, do you do the exact same work as a male? Well, yes, I do. Well, let's really dig deeper. Okay, maybe in a business setting. Okay, you're in an office and, you do this and you do that. Okay, yeah, if you're doing the same exact work, right? But when you first get to that company, right, when you first get there, even though you're doing the same work as John Q, who's been there for 17 years, do you get the same pay? Because by your logic, you should get the same pay as anybody doing the exact same job. I've been in HR, this is an example. I've been in HR for 32 years. You're the new HR girl that's also in the department. So you mean to tell me you're supposed to get the same pay as I get? Ah, but see, that's their logic. That's their logic. Just because, let's go back to sports. Just because you play a similar game, and it isn't similar by any means, just because you play a thing called basketball, you think you should get paid the same pay? That's ridiculous. And then now their argument is, oh, no, we're not saying we should get the same pay. We should get the same amount of revenue sharing. Who is against that? Who is against women in sports getting the same amount of revenue? Hello? You got to make a profit before you can share revenue. The WNBA has never made a profit. Have these people gone to college? If they had made a profit of $1,000 and their revenue sharing with the owners are 50-50, that means every WNBA player, which I think is about a little under 200 players, would have to split $500 between all of them. Don't be fooled by the word salad, you guys. Nobody is saying that they should not get fair revenue sharing, but you got to turn a profit first. Holy Jesus. If you're getting subsidized $10 million plus, and I heard it's really $12 million, by the NBA, you're not turning a profit, so you can't share anything. That's like you opening a business, right? And you have your minimum wage workers. They're saying, boss, I want a raise. You can't give them a raise because you haven't made a profit. And that's a legitimate reason to say, no, I haven't turned a profit. I can't give you a raise because I'm not making any money. I'm just breaking even. As a matter of fact, I'm in the hole. And I'm keeping you here because of charity, because I like you. I'm going in the hole. I'm drowning in debt. But because you're going to college and you're a young person and you need a job, I'm willing to go into the hole. You should be thankful. I'm letting you keep this job because in any other situation, this business would fold. It's crazy. It is crazy. I don't know what else I can do. I just don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, again, it is sad and it's bullshit that, oh, they just made this decision to go digital. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Digital printing has been around since the early 2000s. And Sports Illustrated has been digital for a while. When they took on an agenda of wokeness, just like what you're seeing in the movies, just like what you're seeing all the WNBA, another example. You know, nobody wants to take their kids to see a bunch of what I would call lesbian women play sports. They just don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it. And, you know, again, if I'm wrong, then why aren't women supporting the WNBA? They support men's sports, but they're not supporting the WNBA. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. So that's my issue with Sports Illustrated. Like I said, Tyra Banks, man, I used to look forward to the swimsuit issue, and you see these beautiful women. Jill Ireland, she was another one that used to be on there. And I remember in the 90s, she had just starred in the movie Unnecessary Roughness as a football kicker. And it was a great movie. I still have it in my collection. And she was a beautiful woman. She was on the cover, and she was in there. And I mean, all kinds of beautiful women that went on to have successful businesses and did other things, had families, and you know, they go on to do other things. But how much is that magazine worth today? How many of you guys remember the Rolling Stone cover of Donald Trump with the big gold chain and the gold hip-hop rings and stuff like that? How much do you think that magazine is worth right now in MAGA world? How much can you sell that for right now? You know, when I was in comic book collecting back in the day, I would read the comic book and then I would put it in a plastic thing to keep it preserved. When I was coin collecting, you know, I was a bit of a nerd growing up. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of a hidden nerd. But I don't really think so, because that's what boys did back then. We just did stuff that just, you know, I just collected things, you know, and I just knew the value of them, you know, one day. And I still have some comics right now. Like I have a comic book right now that's worth about, I don't know, given its condition, maybe $8,000 to $10,000. I bought it for 75 cents. You know, things that have innate value. Digital product does not have value because anybody can get it. It doesn't have value. Anything that's digital does not have value. I know you're dealing with these digital coins or things like you have the Donald Trump digital. That's really doesn't have any value. It's not going to have any value over a period of time. It's definitely not. But think of things like Playboy, the iconic people that were on Playboy, Vanity, LaToya Jackson, what's her name? Dorothy Stratton. I mean, all these people that, you know, had a history or, you know, something happened to them or they went on to do great things that graced the covers of these magazines. Some of the articles in the magazines that were historic. That's what we're talking about. When an iconic publication goes out of business, it's the end of an era. And this iconic publication went out of business because they doubled down on wokeness. You're seeing it happening in the movies. People are getting tired of it. It's an agenda of the minority. And, you know, show me where people are stopping alternative lifestyle people from living their lives. Nobody's stopping that. But do we want that pushed in the schools? No, we don't. I've said it for a long time. Okay, you've legalized cannabis. You've legalized it in a lot of states. What's next? Prostitution. And pretty much women have started prostituting themselves already because they all have OnlyFans. A lot of them have OnlyFans. If they don't have OnlyFans, they're dancing in the strip clubs. The fall of society has commenced, and it has been commencing since the 1990s when I was a young man. This is where we're at. You got people breaking our laws and our borders, and I'm going to show you what a bizarre world we're living in. When the very citizens can't get help, but illegal citizens can, we're in a bizarre world. That's where we're at. But hey, you guys, I am Donovan Saadiq, the recovering Democrat. Again, check me out on the Demetra K Show on Sundays, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We also do a show on Tuesdays, the Demetra K Podcast. You can catch us there at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as well there. And we put out some information. Don't forget to check out the brother Philip Scott, Vicki Dillard, Wongel, the African Diaspora News Channel. There's a lot of great stuff. Impress. I cannot stop and say do not forget to check out Lisa Cabrera. Excellent person. The New Black Media in general. I mean, there's so many great outlets, and I'm so glad that we are listening. And for those of you guys that don't agree with me on this podcast, if you don't agree, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with a person not agreeing with me because it's just an opinion. It's one person's opinion. And it's just something that maybe you need to think about. Did you guys actually ever thought about, well, yeah, if you don't make revenue, then you can't share. You can't share revenue you're not making. See, so some people, you know, I mean, regardless if you like this podcast, if you don't like this podcast, it's a conversation to wake people up that might not have all the information or haven't thought the whole damn thing through. Do I know everything? Absolutely not. I just have an opinion. I know, well, you know, that man doesn't have 12 degrees and, you know, he isn't whatever. You know, hey, you can believe what you want. Do I have 12 degrees? I think so. I'm very sure I do. Last I checked, I did. Different subjects, you know, but I'm an aeronautical person. I would be, again, I was a bit of a nerd growing up. I have a degree in professional aeronautics, you know, minored in physics. Yeah. I think I know a lot. I mean, I'm not saying I'm an expert on anything, but I think I know a lot. So anyway, you guys, Donovan Saadiq, the recovering Democrat, thanks you guys today for joining me. It has been a pleasure. Please do not forget to register to vote. Now, when I say register to vote, I'm not telling you you have to vote. You might want to set this out if you're a black person. But the reason I'm telling you to register to vote is when they go back and they do the numbers, when they do the numbers on all of this stuff, they could be able to count how many registered voters didn't show up. And that's how they did the numbers in Louisiana for the governor's race there. They actually saw how many black people, or basically voters, sat it out. So please register to vote. There is no voting rights problem in the United States. When you stand up for voting rights, because if you got a driver's license and a state ID and you haven't been convicted on a felony, even if you have, you can get your rights reinstated. But the point is, you have ID, you can vote. Nobody's stopping you to vote. When they say voting rights, they're talking about getting these people illegally to vote. These new people that are coming in here illegally, giving them the right to vote, which would hurt the black community. Once again, a Democratic attack on the black community. Hey, you guys, I'm Donovan Saadiq. You have just now listened to Rehab Radio. If you agree with this podcast or you don't, it doesn't really matter because it's just one man's opinion, and I could be wrong, but I doubt it.